is a deceased lily. It's a stargazer lily, and it was so beautiful. It was like this almost black variety, and I could tell when I was buying them that something was a little bit off. They looked kind of cooler damaged, but I was willing to experiment, but it was very, very subtle. And to the untrained eye, I think it could easily go unnoticed. But the point I want to make here is that my vendor didn't say anything. And maybe they didn't have the time, maybe they didn't know, but the entire bucket kind of had a little bit of the same funny look to it, and my vendor didn't say anything. So this created, after I noticed a week later that they never opened, this created a sense of distrust in me for them. So I am less likely to purchase from them now because they were not forthright with me about the product. Usually my really good vendors will be like, this is old, don't buy this, we're getting a new batch next week. Whatever the like scenario is, they're very open with me about what's fresh and what's not. So I highly recommend that you use the same openness with your own clients. And also, I don't use a cooler to store my flowers because if you don't know, coolers prolong the life of flowers, and it essentially gives store owners more time with the flowers, but the customers end up with flowers that live a shorter life. So all of that to say, I don't use a cooler because, again, it prolongs the life but shortens it for the customer. So the longer florists have product in their cooler, the longer they can keep it, the longer shelf life, the more profit, but shorter life for the client. And I'm just not down with that. I do create a lot of extra work for myself by not adhering to that. I make things fresh. I don't use a cooler. I keep things stored at room temperature in the winter and spring months, or whenever it's most cool. So in my studio, it's usually anywhere between 60 to 68, maybe 70 degrees. And when it starts to get around 70 degrees, then I'll turn on the air conditioner. I have central air, so the whole studio gets cooled, but it's not cooled to the point of like cooler refrigeration, like between 35 and 45 degrees, which is what most florist coolers will store their flowers at. So every order is super fresh. Every order is usually flowers from the day prior to the order, or 2 days, maybe max. That way the customer gets flowers that last a week, depending on the type of flower and depending on their environment too, because if it wasn't made clear in this video already, the spaces in which flowers live affect the longevity of their life. So if a client's house is really warm, flowers are going to have a shorter life in that space. So I hope that this little tip is helpful to you. I hope that your vendors are forthright with you and tell you what's fresh and what's not, and that also sometimes it may go past us. We get really excited about a certain product, but we kind of know that it's not going to last long. I didn't buy these for a client, I just got them for myself. I kind of didn't care if they were going to open, and I was right. But I was disappointed that my vendor didn't say anything. They're continuing to fall apart as I speak. If this is helpful, like the video, subscribe for more, and whatever.